What does freedom mean to you? Does it mean the freedom to choose? The freedom to have a family and raise your kids according to your own values? What about living a wild, adventurous life, experimenting with music, relationships, or art? What does freedom really mean? What if freedom meant something that only a few Americans still understood? What if it meant that your choices and your values were set by you, rather than by some politician in a far-off capital? Some people think we're only free to choose to live exactly how they live, by their moral code, or their narrow worldviews. But if liberty means anything, it means that you, and you alone, have the power to exercise your rights to which the laws of nature and nature's God granted you. It's time to put these principles back into action. It's time to restore the American dream, activate in our communities, and take our country back. It's time to wake up, America. Good morning, Rise and Freedom. I'm Austin Petersen. You're watching and listening to the Wake Up America show at wakeupAmericaShow.com. Happy New Year. Thanks so much for tuning into the program today. We're glad to have you here. Hope you got a day off. I didn't give myself a day off because I'm here to entertain you. Glad to have you here. At the top of the show, it may be a new year, but you all know what that means. It's time to pay your taxes. Yes, the Biden administration's new set of taxes that they raised on us last year go into effect this year. And I've got the list of new tax hikes that you, yes, you, will be paying this year in 2023. Then after that, Anthony Fauci has a giant wall of portraits to himself. Are you surprised? Also, Trump says that he finally has figured out what it is that caused Republicans to lose the midterms last year. He posted it on Truth Social yesterday. I'll share that with you here in just a few minutes. At 7:35 this morning, I can't wait to introduce you to my friend Stefisaurus Flex. Yes, another Stephie will be on the show today, not my lovely wife. Stephanie will be joining us. She is a veteran and a former law enforcement officer to talk about the attack in Times Square, a machete attack on NYPD officers during the New Year's celebration, which some are blaming, calling an act of terrorism. We'll talk about that with Stephanie at 7:30 this morning. And at 7:51 this morning, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this one. Send us a text, 573-319-1586. Which public figure has the dumbest followers? Can you answer that? What do you think? Which public figure has the dumbest followers? Love to hear your thoughts on that one. Send me a text at 573-319-1586. Again, 573-319-1586. Let us know, who do you think is the public figure with the dumbest followers? Obviously, I have the smartest followers. It's you. At 8 o'clock this morning, we've got Anthony Rogers. He's a comedian, conservative comedian, who's going to be joining us to talk about our lack of good role models. Over the weekend, I stirred up quite a lot of controversy when I was posting clips of an interview that I did on Friday with Daniela Pensack about conservative influencer Andrew Tate. And, well, people were, I mean, when the guy's got 3 million followers and you take a shot at him, someone, obviously you're going to get some negative feedback. There were a lot of angry people talking about what a great influence Andrew Tate had been on them. And I thought to myself, if Andrew Tate is the influencer for the right and Greta Thunberg is the influence for young people for the left, we need better role models. We're going to talk to Anthony Rogers about that at 8 a.m. this morning, and I'm sure lots of butthurt will ensue. At 8:30 this morning, another new guest. I'm going to introduce to you Ben Williams. Benjamin Williams is going to join us. He's known as Prax Ben. If you guys don't know what Prax means, Prax is short for praxeology, study of human action. We'll talk to Ben Williams this morning about conservative influencer Matt Walsh's attacks on libertarians. So we'll talk to him at 8:30 this morning. Prax Ben is a Henry Hazlitt Fellow with the Foundation for Economic Education. So, well, welcome to the show. Don't forget, again, you can send us a text this morning at 573-319-1586. We can respond to those texts and read them on air. Also, if you'd like, you can send us a super chat over on YouTube this morning at youtube.com/AP for Liberty. Good morning to Grant, Mad Mom Anon, Robbie Thurman, Dustin, and my lovely wife, Stephanie, for joining us this morning on the program today. Glad to have you over here on YouTube. If you're on any of our other platforms, that's totally fine. We just love it when people hang out over on YouTube. It makes the chat flow so much easier. All right. Well, President Biden and congressional Democrats imposed a long list of tax increases as part of their Inflation Reduction Act that passed in 2022. Inflation reduction, we know it didn't actually reduce inflation, did it? The Democratic tax hikes will take effect, I guess, starting yesterday. $6.5 billion in natural gas tax hikes are going to increase your household energy bills this year. If you think that your energy bills are high now, wait until the three major energy taxes in that bill start to take effect. The first is a regressive tax on American oil and gas development. That tax is going to drive up the cost of household energy bills. The CBO, that's the Congressional Budget Office, estimates that the natural gas tax will increase taxes by $6.5 billion. That's going to be a big one. The second one, tax that goes into effect this year that will hit you is the $12 billion crude oil tax. Democrats are imposing a 16.4 cents per barrel tax on crude oil and imported petroleum products that will be passed on to consumers, of course, in the form of higher gas prices. This tax hike actually violates President Biden's tax pledge to any American making less than $400,000 a year. Remember, they said, "Oh, we're not going to raise taxes on anybody who makes more than $400,000 a year." Well, guess what? A 16-cent gas tax per barrel tax on crude oil gets passed on to you and to the consumer. Dustin says this morning, thanks for not blocking me. I think you were the only ones who haven't at least once. Yeah, blocking is something I use very sparingly. You've got to be like a complete and total degenerate for something like that to happen. Um, Boone County raised taxes too, says Grant. Oh, yes. If you live north of the river, you're going to get your taxes raised. I think everybody raised taxes. Again, you can text us 573-319-1586. Robbie Thurman asking the real questions this morning says, was it a machete assault or an assault machete? Great question. We'll talk to Stefisaurus Flex this morning in about 30 minutes about that, or I guess 15 minutes. Another tax increase going into effect this year, a $1.2 billion coal tax, which of course will get passed on to you. A tax hike more than doubles the current excise taxes on coal production. Under the Democratic proposal, the tax rate on coal from subsurface mining would increase from 50 cents a ton to $1.10. Wow, it's a big one. While the tax rate on coal from surface mining will increase 25 cents per ton to 55 cents per ton. The estimates are that this will raise 1.2 billion in taxes that will be passed on to consumers in the form of higher electricity bills. Duh. Another one, $74 billion stock tax, which is going to hit your nest egg, 401ks, IRAs, pension plans, and all that. When Americans choose to sell shares of stock back, Democrats are going to impose a new federal excise tax, which reduces the value of our household nest eggs. That's right, our retirements. Raising taxes and restricting stock buybacks harms the retirement savings of any individual with a 401k, an IRA, or a pension plan. Also, if you're a member of a union, your retirement plan will also be hit starting this year. The tax, of course, puts us at a competitive disadvantage with China, which does not have such a tax. That's right. Communist China doesn't have even these kinds of taxes that we will. Mad Mom Anon is really excited about HB 100 here in Missouri to make gold and silver legal tender. Hell yes. We'd love to see it. Amen, Mama. You're not a mad mom. You're a nice mom. We love to hear that. Definitely. And make sure that you check out your gold IRAs from Lear Capital, learaustin.com. Another tax increase thanks to the Democrats. I know. I know. Hey, listen, I might fall. I didn't vote for Joe Biden. $225 billion corporate income tax. Now, there's a lot of people who are like, oh, yes, we have to tax those evil corporations. It's like that. Remember Tim Robbins from Team America World Police when he described what the corporations are? He's like, Team America has corporation buildings, and then they give money. The corporations finance Team America, and then they sit in their corporation building, and they act all corporation-y, and they make money. Applause. No. Laughter? No. Having some technical issues today. There we go. It sounds like they want to F the American people, not to help. No kidding, Dustin. No kidding. the corporation buildings, they're all trying to do. We have to raise corporate income taxes because they're all corporation. I'm a corporation. That's what this show runs under, a corporation. And so, of course, guess what? My taxes got raised. 15% corporate alternative minimum tax on the financial statement of income of American businesses, reporting $1 billion in profits for the past 3 years. Okay, so maybe not on me because I didn't report $1 billion in the last 3 years. Okay, so only on those really rich corporations. Well, guess what? The tax increase will be borne by us in the form of higher prices, fewer jobs, lower wages. I know. A Tax Foundation report from December found 15% book tax would reduce GDP by 0.1% and kill 27,000 jobs. Joe Biden. Those are the list of tax increases that the Democrats brought on to us. Who did we lose in 2022? Some major names and faces of people who passed away. We'll talk about that before we get to Stefisaurus Flex. Not that Stephie, a different Stephie. At 7:30 this morning, talk about that attack in Times Square. All that and more on the Wake Up America show at wakeupAmericaShow.com.
I like shooting things, but whenever I can't shoot something, I like to cut things. My life isn't all about shooting and stabbing and cutting, though. Sometimes I have to do actual work, but when I work, I still like to have fun. And there's nothing less fun than trying to cut with a crappy knife. Thankfully, from the ancient sect of Christian knights, who also loved cutting and stabbing, comes a new implement that has received my personal blessing, the Templar knife. Like the ancient sword of Excalibur, you don't choose a Templar knife, it chooses you. You just decide what kind you want on the website first, however, and then order it online, and then it chooses you. The Templar knife comes in a variety of shapes. As a man of culture and taste, I have decided I will never use a terrible knife again. And thanks to the inspiration provided by this excellent product, I have decided to launch a new crusade against anyone using less than superior knives. Join me, brothers and sisters, by visiting uppercuttactical.com/pages/Templar-knives. That's a lot of slashes. For that, you'll need a Templar knife. For 10% off, use code AP for Liberty and join me in a quest for glory, for liberty, for Christendom, for the Templar knife. Get yours today.
Fire.
Your printing company stinks. They charge you too much money and they don't love America enough. We've got the solution. Patriot Printing USA. Whether you're running for office, saving souls, or just need business cards that will get you the new job you've been looking for, Patriot Printing USA has got you covered with the best prices around. Palm cards, brochures, bumper stickers, door hangers, you name it, we've got it. PatriotPrintingUSA.com. That's PatriotPrintingUSA.com.
Want an engaging website to boost your business? You're just a click away from 5-star Fiverr talent. Hundreds of freelancer skills like web design. Head to Fiverr.com today and get something started.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
I would remind you that extremism in the defense of liberty is no vice.
It is better to settle these matters in the courts than on the streets, and new laws are needed at every level. But law alone cannot make men see right.
Good morning, Rise and Freedom. I'm Austin Petersen. You're watching and listening to the Wake Up America Show at wakeupAmericaShow.com. It's 7:22 a.m. Happy New Year. Thanks so much for tuning into the program today. Coming up here in just a few minutes, our friend Stefisaurus Flex joins us this morning. She's a former police officer and a veteran. She's going to talk to us about that attack on New Year's in Times Square that some people are blaming on terrorism. Talk to her in just a few minutes. But first thing up front, Donald Trump says that he knows why Republicans lost the midterm elections. He says, it wasn't my fault. Okay. And continues on. He posts on Truth Social yesterday. It wasn't my fault that the Republicans didn't live up to expectations in the midterms. It was 233 I was 233 to 20. Don't forget that out of those 233, I think about 175 of them or so were running unopposed. So good job there. He says, Donald Trump says, this is his words. These are his words. It was the, quote, abortion issue. Okay. Poorly handled by many Republicans, especially those that firmly insisted on no exceptions. And he puts the no exceptions with capital letters, capital N, capital E, no exceptions. Even in the case of capital R, rape, capital I, incest, or capital L, life of the capital M mother. That lost large number of capital V voters. Also, the people that pushed so hard for decades against abortion got their wish from the U.S. Supreme Court and just plain disappeared, not to be seen again. Plus, Mitch, stupid monies. Okay. So it was the abortion issue, according to Donald Trump. Poorly handled by many Republicans, especially those that firmly insisted on no exceptions, even in the case of rape, incest, or life of the mother, that lost large number of voters. Also, the people that pushed so hard for decades against abortion got their wish and just plain disappeared, not to be seen again. Is that the case? What do you think about that, what Donald Trump had to say? Send us a text at 573-319-1586 with your thoughts on what Donald Trump had to say about why Republicans lost the midterm elections. Speaking of lost, I thought this was an interesting list of big names that we lost last year in 2022. It came as 22 came to an end. We kind of look back on some of the names and faces of people that passed away last year. Here's some of the 12 biggest names that passed away. Bob Saget passed away at 65 years old. He actually died in January of last year of head trauma, not because of drugs or alcohol, as was rumored. Of course, everybody knew him from Full House, but I knew him from what was the stoner movie that he did with Dave Chappelle? I can't remember. Dazed and Confused? I don't. Number 2, Taylor Hawkins, one of my favorite bands, drummer for my favorite bands. Taylor Hawkins died on March 26th. He was 50 years old. Numerous drugs were found in his system. However, his heart was discovered to be twice the size of an average heart. Taylor Hawkins, drummer for the band Foo Fighters, passed away. Gilbert Gottfried passed away. He was 67 years old, and he died from ventricular tachycardia, unfortunately. Number 4, Naomi Judd passed away last year in 2022. She died by suicide. Ray Liotta died in his sleep while he was on set shooting for a new movie in the Dominican Republic. He was 67 years old. James Caan of Godfather fame, Oscar-nominated actor. He, of course, was, I think more young people know James Caan from his role in Elf. But, of course, I remember him from Godfather. Paul Sorvino, another Goodfellas actor. He died from natural causes. He was 83 years old. Tony Dow, the Leave It to Beaver star, died from cancer in July. He was 77 years old. Of course, Queen Elizabeth II also passed away. She had ascended to the British throne at 25 years old, and she was the longest reigning monarch in the nation's history, and she died in September. Christine McAvie, she was the one who helped launch the rock band Fleetwood Mac, passed away last year on November 30th following a short illness. She was 79 years old. Kirstie Alley, who starred in Cheers, she died in December. She was 71 years old. And number 12, Pope Benedict, the 16th, former head of the Catholic Church, whose historic resignation in 23 created the position of Pope Emeritus, died on December 31st following a very short illness. He was 95 years old. All right, let's go get my friend Stefisaurus Flex. Half-Baked. Thank you, big guy. Yes. Half-Baked. That was the movie. I can't believe I forgot about Half-Baked. All right, we'll be back with Stefisaurus Flex on the Wake Up America Show at wakeupAmericaShow.com.
Want an engaging website to boost your business? You're just a click away from 5-star Fiverr talent. Hundreds of freelancer skills like web design. Head to Fiverr.com today and get something started.
American conservatism is distinct, like America is distinct from the United Kingdom. American conservatism's roots comes out of the Wild West, out of pioneerism. The difference between American conservatives and European conservatives is that Americans are cowboys. We are that God, guns, gold, and girls. It's wild here, and we should stay that way. We shouldn't allow a European version of conservatism to come and infect us here. We like it wide open spaces here, deep in the heart of Texas and all that.
Hi, I'm Stephanie, Austin's wife. I want to thank you all for watching the Wake Up America Show with Austin Petersen. This show has been a huge venture for our family, so we would love it if you could join us. I believe in liberty, and I believe in Austin's ability to spread the ideas of liberty. Do you? I want to ask you today to join Petersen's Patriots with a pledge of $17.76 a month. Help us to stay cancel-proof so we can spread the message of limited government across the country. I joined Petersen's Patriots myself, just in a little different way. Visit wakeupAmericaShow.com/support and make your pledge today.
for watching the Wake Up America show with my dad. Today, I'd like to share with you 3 reasons why you should visit Dad's online store at apforlibertyshop.com. Number 1, you can get exclusive freedom-loving merch designed by AP himself or me mom, Stephie. Liberty Laura has made some designs as well, and blimey, they are great! Number 2, most of these products are so wicked that they aren't even allowed to be advertised on Facebook or Instagram. Modern machine guns and a proper keychain. Plus, our Grover Cleveland t-shirt is so spicy apparently that leftists on Facebook specifically banned it from appearing on the website. Number 3, you're supporting liberty lovers just like you. Spend your money where you earn it, and you help me pups build a community that supports what you believe. Bloody hell, this commercial is running too long. Gotta run. Bye now. Don't forget to visit apforlibertyshop.com. That's apforlibertyshop.com.
Good morning, Rise and Freedom. I'm Austin Petersen. You're watching and listening to the Wake Up America show at wakeupAmericaShow.com. Happy New Year. Thanks so much for joining us. It wasn't a happy new year for some people, though. In New York City, a machete attack on cops near Times Square is now being considered a possible terrorist attack. Joining us now to discuss is a military veteran and a former police officer herself. She is Stefisaurus Flex, joining us for her first time on the program today. Good morning, Stephie. Thanks so much for joining us on the program.
Good morning. Hi.
Hey, Happy New Year. We appreciate you coming on here today, Stephie, and offering us your expertise as a police officer. Give us your thoughts on this story.
Unfortunately, what's been going on lately in the country is that attacks against police have increased. Just since 2020, we've seen an increase of at least 60% by April of 2021, and this is no different. It was an unprovoked attack on 3 NYPD officers that were stationed outside the security screening zone in New York City during the New Year festivities. It's an absolutely terrible attack. Fortunately, nobody was fatally hurt. They are only in critical condition and they are stable at this time, but it is being investigated as a possible terrorist attack due to the male subjects posting on social media of Islamic extremist sort of views, I guess you could say.
Now, Stephie, I'm not sure how long your career was as a police officer, but just out of curiosity, did you notice that that attacks on police officers, got worse as your years in the force went along? I mean, what are your thoughts on violence against police officers in general? I mean, I would think it kind of comes with the territory, but I do hear from a lot of police officers that things like this have started stepping up in recent years.
Absolutely. So I actually spent the last 10 years in law enforcement. If you actually add together both my federal military time as a law enforcement officer and my state law enforcement officer career. So starting in 2012 until now, you can see an absolute increase in shift in anger towards police in the United States. The public is angry, and the people they're taking it out on are police because they are the most in the public eye.
If you're just tuning in to the Wake Up America show with Austin Petersen, I'm speaking to my friend Stefisaurus Flex. She's a military veteran and a former police officer as well, talking a little bit about that event that happened in Times Square on New Year's where a man attacked police officers with a machete. Some people are blaming this on terrorism. Now, what would you kind of like lay this at the feet of, Stephie? I mean, in terms of like societal issues, respect for police seems to be going down. Would you blame any of this on perhaps, the kind of defund the police rhetoric that we hear? Or, I mean, is this just like a general societal degradation? I mean, where would you really kind of, I guess, lay the blame for things like this?
It's hard to lay the blame on just one party. There's clear indication that has come out that police brutality is a thing. I'm not going to sit here and fight and say, it doesn't happen, because it does. It ends up in the public eyes. We have cameras at the tips of our fingertips now to be able to get these issues out in the open. it's good police officers don't like bad police officers. Public doesn't like bad police officers. But it is becoming a societal issue. It is becoming the norm to hate police officers who, whether or not they have been considered a bad, quote unquote, police officer, are still feeling the effects of negative public perception.
And in terms of like, police brutality and, the behavior of police officers, if there's been an increase in violence towards police officers, would you say that there's been an increase in violence or brutality by the police?
I think that it is just more publicly known at this point.
So that
It's
it's
more
been going
in
on
the
for a while,
public
though.
view. It has. I would be absolutely ignorant to say that it hasn't gone on.
Okay. I mean, I guess what's the solution to something like that? Because, libertarians like myself kind of lay the blame at the problem being something like qualified immunity, which makes it harder to prosecute police officers if they do things like that in the line of duty. What are your thoughts on it?
Unfortunately, I can't say that there's one blanket sort of I guess fix all to this problem. Training is always going to be a thing. Police officers receive constant and ongoing training throughout their careers. Some require degrees to actually apply for those sort of like departments, and some require less education. Depending on the area you're going to or you're going to work in, the standards are going to be different. There's no blanket standard for law enforcement across the country or across the state. Anywhere in the state could have different hiring sort of qualifications, pre-qualifications. Some departments don't even accept brand new peace officers. You have to transfer into that department because they don't accept brand new recruits. So it's hard to give a blanket fix all to a problem that is not, I guess, standardized across the board would be my.
It's a good observation. If you're just tuning in to the Wake Up America show, I'm speaking to Stefisaurus Flex, aka Stephie. We're talking to her as a former veteran and police officer, or a veteran and former police officer, about the Times Square attack and some of the issues with violence against and by police. Stephanie, in terms of like use of force by police, right? There's been a lot of criticism of police ever since the video emerged of Derek Chauvin, of course, which led to these the riots in Minnesota and Kenosha, Wisconsin, and other places around the country. But in terms of like how police are trained for use of violence, you say that there's no standardized view of how to train police officers to deal with violent suspects or suspects that resist arrest, like Derek Chauvin. But would you say that there is perhaps maybe a a better example or a good example, a police department that does it well? I mean, like, would standardized Brazilian jiu-jitsu training be a good thing for police officers? I mean, do you have any suggestions?
I fully believe that Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and Krav Maga are really great tools for peace officers. It gives you hand-to-hand experience, but that's just another tool in your tool belt per se. Everything on your belt is a tool. Every bit of training that you undergo is a tool to add to your toolbox to deal with a situation. No situation that you're going to deal with as a peace officer is ever going to be the same. You can respond to the same type of situation, but all of the factors in that situation are going to be different. The aggressors are going to be different. The person themselves, their experience, their life experience is going to be different. They're going to respond to different words, different actions. Maybe something that you do as a peace officer triggers this one individual where it wouldn't have triggered another. And it's hard to give, as I stated, like a blanket fix all to these problems when no two situations are ever going to be the same.
That's a good point. I'd like to switch topics here for just a moment.
Mhm.
Stephanie, you and I, we briefly touched on another topic we want to discuss. The topic of the show this morning, the title is the influencers of left and right. And I guess, you're I guess you might say a tough chick, right? You're a military veteran, former cop. You could probably kick my ass. Probably kick a lot of guys' asses. So I guess you probably prefer guys that are what we might consider a little bit more alpha. Would you say that that if you could, if you had your druthers, would you prefer that more men be like Andrew Tate?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Well, well, he's an alpha male. He's an
S
influencer, millions of followers, kickboxing champion. Why not?
I have to say, I have to if a man has to constantly state how alpha he is, under my own experience, I can only speak for my experience, they are probably not as alpha as they're projecting to the world.
No, no, that can't be, Steffi. That can't be. What did you think about his arrest? Any comments on that?
I actually did look into a lot of the details of the case. Of course, there's not a lot out there currently because it is an open investigation. And there's actually been points where he was on podcast and he was bragging about the methods that he used to lure women overseas to be with him. And then he utilized them in pornographic ways on websites such as OnlyFans and TikTok, making upwards of 50,000 a month just to fund his own escapades. There is actually a human trafficking term for this. It is called the lover boy method, where he utilized his own seduction techniques, his professed love for them, gifts, promises of marrying them to lure women of lower economic standards, I would say, lower economic issues to where he's at his location to essentially exploit them. And when I looked up the case and when I tried to find a bunch of details, it seems as if there was 6 women that actually were undergoing this between him, his brother, and their 2 assistants, because there was 4 arrests in this case. Both of their assistants were also taken into custody.
I mean, it's kind of a stinking business, in terms of, the legality of, webcam businesses. Being a libertarian, I can't say that I think it should be illegal, but just because I think that something shouldn't be illegal doesn't mean that it isn't immoral. And of course, in terms of immorality, it can sometimes very easily cross a line from immorality back into illegality. He's being accused of sex trafficking. He's being accused of rape. And the question is when you see a story like this, is this a question of whether or not if there's smoke, there's fire?
I think the problem with this case is that these women, although it was on websites that essentially allow this type of content, I'm not going to say that they encourage it because they don't. It's just putting content behind a paywall and allowing that type of content. These women were actually not allowed to have any of the money that they were earning. It was being withheld from them. And they were actually, quote unquote, held prisoner inside this location in Romania, where he had bragged previously that he had moved to, that he had ran away to because of the lower involvement with police.
That's interesting stuff. We're speaking to Stefisaurus Flex. She is an online influencer as well as a former police officer and a military veteran. Stephanie, would you like to share with our listeners where they can find out more information about you and follow you online? I know you do some Twitch streams. Maybe you'd like to promote that?
I stream on Twitch Sunday through Thursday, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time, where I analyze true crime documentaries and we talk about open cases, ongoing cases in the US. It allows me to give my 10 years of military law enforcement background, the 2 SWAT teams that I served on, the instructing and knowledge of case laws and different sorts of experiences with the public in a live sort of setting.
Stefisaurus Flex, that's your handle on Twitch?
That is my handle everywhere. You can find me on every social media by that handle.
She's an expert on the criminology, and you can follow her over at Stefisaurus Flex. Stephie, thank you so much for your time today. Thanks for getting up so early for us and joining us. Happy New Year.
Absolutely, no problem. My pleasure.
We'll definitely love to have you back. What did you think of Stefisaurus Flex? Send us a text, 573-319-1586. That's 573-319-1586. We got Anthony Rogers coming up at 8 a.m. He's going to talk about Andrew Tate and Greta Thunberg and what a good role model means to be a man. And you know he's a real masculine man with a big giant puffy beard that he's got. We'll talk to him at 8 a.m. But first, coming up next, I got to get my notes. Public figures with the dumbest followers. We'll talk about all that and more when we get back on the Wake Up America show at wakeupAmericaShow.com.
Were you exposed to hazardous materials while serving in the military and have an illness or condition as a result?
If so, you may be eligible for VA benefits and services.
Whether you need health care or want to file a disability compensation claim related to military exposures, VA is here to help.
Visit va.gov/military-exposures to learn more and apply today.
If there wasn't going to be somebody who was a fiery champion of liberty, somebody who would get out there and who would be aggressive, and if they wouldn't do it with more fire or passion than I had, then I would go and I would fight this battle for us. I've fought for the principles that we all share. Parties tend to be secondary to me. We're here because we believe in the principles of liberty. I am not a perfect messenger, but I think I'm a damn good one. This is a replica of our first president's flintlock pistol. You have my full support, my respect, and my gun.
I think that the heart of my philosophy is much more libertarianism than well, that's the fashionable word these days, I guess. A conservative is no longer just that. He's a libertarian and always has been.
Yet any time you and I question the schemes of the do-gooders, we're denounced as being against their humanitarian goals. They say we're always against things, we're never for anything.
What is fascism? Fascism is private ownership, private enterprise, but total government control and regulation.
Well, the trouble with our liberal friends is not that they're ignorant. It's just that they know so much that isn't so. If we lose freedom here, there's no place to escape to. This is the last stand on earth. This is the issue of this election. Whether we believe in our capacity for self-government or whether we abandon the American Revolution and confess that a little intellectual elite in a far distant capital can plan our lives for us better than we can plan them ourselves.
The conservative, so-called, is the one that says less government, get off my back, get out of my pocket, and let me have more control of my own destiny.
If I had to pick up the phone and call 911 for one of my family members or one of my neighbors, what would I do if no one was on the other end to respond? What if there was no 911? that you can be a part of the solution.
Anybody can be a firefighter. Male, female, younger, older.
We have school teachers. We have leaders in business.
Is me, you, anyone that wants to be. There is no typical firefighter.
Do you hate the deep state? Do you reject the Antichrist in all his ways? Do you believe that aliens controlled LBJ to assassinate John F. Kennedy? Did you know that the shot can put chemicals in you that will make you more sensitive to 5G? Do you love America? Do you want more freedom? Do you like smoking hot red-headed libertarians? Then the AP for Liberty shop is for you! Check out all the awesome new merch and have a happy new year! Fight the deep state! Reject the Antichrist! Visit AP for Liberty shop and get your patriotic merchandise now, or the deep state wins!
Good morning, Rise and Freedom. I'm Austin Petersen. You're watching and listening to the Wake Up America show at wakeupamericashow.com. Glad to have you here. You can send us a text at 573-319-1586. That's 573-319-1586. We've still got some more great guests to go. We've got Anthony Rogers, a comedian, joining us at 8 a.m. to talk about, well, people with stupid followers. Which public figure has the stupidest followers? We'd love to hear from you about that. Send us a text 573-319-1586. You can also send us a super chat. Hope you're enjoying the new commercials over there. Which public figure has the dumbest followers? Honestly, the first response to this when I tweeted it yesterday was pretty great. JoJo from Jurors. And Jennifer Rubin blogger. Yeah, that's a really good response. Yeah, JoJo from Jurors. If you're not perpetually online, you probably have no idea who she is. She's just like one of those lefty bloggers who does the Joe Biden's doing a great job as president of the United States and Republicans are stupid. Retweet if you agree. Yeah, it's boring. I know. But maybe the answer sent in by Super Estrella is probably the best one. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez has the dumbest followers. Anthony Rogers over in the chat says Joe Biden. That's a great answer. But I got to say, maybe AOCs are a little bit dumber. Not sure about that. Keith Olbermann says Philip Taylor. That's a good response. Yes, frequently, if you read the comments, the responses to what Keith Olbermann is saying on Twitter, it's pretty bad. Post Malone, says John Turner. I have no idea. I haven't followed any of Post Malone's tweets. Maybe I need to do that. Taylor Lorenz, says Rare Camellia. That's a great answer. Yes, we will accept Taylor Lorenz from the Washington Post. Now, somebody attacked Marjorie Taylor Greene. They said AOC and Marjorie Taylor Greene at the same time. I haven't actually followed any of Marjorie Taylor Greene's followers. Ooh, Ann Henry over on YouTube. This is a good one. She says, how about Alyssa Milano? Yeah, that's a good one. Although, here's the thing. I've been blocked by Alyssa Milano on Twitter for years, so I can't actually see any of her tweets, so I have no idea what her followers are like. Yossi Schmidt responded, and he said, Adam Schiff. Also a very, very good one. Piper for Missouri. Now, see, that's kind of like you're like, what the? Yeah, who is Piper for Missouri? So she's a Democrat here in Missouri who's does a really good job of like stirring up conservatives online. She just attacks Republicans and conservatives here in the state of Missouri. So, it's if you don't know who she is, I wouldn't follow her. Like, just try and figure out who she is. So don't waste your time on that because it's just going to be pointless. But Piper for Missouri is one. So you got blocked by Alyssa. Haha, you must have been doing something right. Yes, it was because I was supporting gun rights, and I think it was like right after the shooting in Parkland. So What are you going to do? We have our gun rights even when people commit heinous crimes with them. Let's see. Greta Thunberg, somebody else says. Another good response. My friend Rodney, aka Lord Petty, says that Hassan guy, Hassan Piker, yes, another good one, online personality with the dumbest followers. Someone says anyone with a .gov in their bio. Very good one, very good one. Another answer someone had to say was Bernie Sanders. Yes, absolutely perfect. Sweet Jane, she answered Cher, but I mean, yeah, as dumb a leftist as Cher is, I mean, Cher has given us so much wonderful music. Or at least Cher has done something valuable with her life. The best thing that Alyssa Milano ever did for us was Who's the Boss? Yeah, I'm dating myself there. People know how old I am now. So, yeah. Yang gangsters are pretty bad in my opinion. Andrew Yang, famous Nazi. Yes. I have to say though, the funny thing about the Andrew Yang thing is, I remember when he came out in favor of vaccine passports like a couple of years ago, jokingly started calling him a Nazi, and his followers freaked out. I'm like, he's not a Nazi. And I was just like, no, he's a total Nazi. I just kept making all these Nazi jokes about Andrew Yang, and boy, his people were just losing their stuff. And I realized I was like, this is why the left does this, because it works. It's effective. Just call people Nazis. So I honestly think that like just calling Democrats, Nazis in the future, even if it doesn't make sense at all, doesn't matter. I think it's just a really good tactic to use. Yeah. Getting more answers of JoJo from Jers. Other people say Taylor Swift. I got to say that's hilarious because, yeah, the Taylor Swift followers, fans with the Ticketmaster thing, you got to understand the laws of supply and demand, folks. There's only so many seats, only so many tickets can be sold. They just, when it's sold out, it's sold out. What are you going to do? You're going to cry? Brooklyn Dad Defiant is up there, somebody said. All right. Cenk Uygur from the Young Turks. Somebody else said, oh, man. They said AP for Liberty has the dumbest followers. Thankfully, that tweet had no likes on it. No likes at all. And we're glad to see it. All right. Let's go get Anthony Rogers. What do you say, huh? Should we go get Anthony Rogers? Let's do that. All right. I love me a little ska in the morning. All right, let's go get Anthony. We'll be right back to talk. He's going to give his thoughts on influencers like Andrew Tate on the Wake Up America show at wakeupAmericaShow.com.
Hello, my name is Kelvin. Welcome to Frenchy Bush. This is my Didi's website. Now I've decided to speak to you with my real voice for the first time ever to tell you about how cool Frenchy Bush is. But I've decided that this is the perfect opportunity to share with you. Frenchy Bush is a good website. You should follow us on socials. If you like Frenchies or any kind of bulldogs, me and my new brother George are going to try to make your life more fun.
Hello, I'm George. My neck isn't really thick yet, but it will be. We are so glad you're here. Please ignore my floating eyeball. It helps me spot predators who might be approaching from the sides.
Didi made Frenchy bullshit to review things that he uses on me and my brother to tell you if it's good or bullshit. Take this collar, for example. Didi really likes it. Didi said it's really handy because us Frenchies got thick necks. Need something really tough. People think Frenchies are little, but if you look at us from below, you can see we are really pretty buff. Beefcake. Yes. Look at my creamy thighs and chest. Yes. You like that?
Big brother, please focus.
Frenchy Bush. Please follow us for more great content and read the Frenchy Bush blog for more fun and cool stuff.
I'm a public defender.
I am a public defender.
I'm proud to be a public defender.
80% of Americans accused of a crime will get appointed a public defender.
Everybody from a speeding ticket to capital murder.
For every dollar we spend on public defenders, we spend $3 on prosecutors.
Public defenders have to do pretty much everything on their own.
Social workers, counselors.
Investigating is another piece of it.
The average public defender holds 300 cases annually.
You never feel like there's enough time.
Public defenders have health issues all the time.
A lot of people give up and say, I can't do this work anymore.
Gideon's Promise trains, mentors, and supports public defenders.
There are a lot of people who say that they would not still be public defenders, but for Gideon's Promise.
It's fueled me to continue on in this fight.
Gideon's Promise has changed the face of public defense.
People see us as troublemakers.
Good trouble only.
We don't make it easy. It should not be easy to take away someone's liberty.
Ever hear the one about the frog? Put a frog in a pot of boiling water and it'll jump right out.
Here's my resume again.
But put a frog in a pot of cool water and slowly heat it up, and that frog will boil. It's a lie. But as a metaphor for us and all that we go through as veterans,
Any real world experience.
it's a story that rings true. We make excuses for how we feel. We push everything down. We tell ourselves the lie that it's easier to stay in that boiling water, to disconnect. And some days, maybe it is. But you've never been interested in easy. Make no mistake, reaching out is hard. Do it anyway. You're not alone. You've got this. You are not a frog.
Find resources at va.gov/reach.
Good morning, Rise and Freedom. I'm Austin Petersen. You're watching and listening to the Wake Up America show at wakeupamericashow.com, where we only have the finest guests in all of conservative talk media. Joining us now on the line is my buddy, Anthony Rogers. He's an influencer himself, a conservative, a podcaster, a television broadcaster, and just an all-around general badass. Good morning, Anthony. How you doing, brother?
Hey, good, man. Thanks for that bold intro.
Yeah, I love having you here, Anthony. Our guests always, people always say that you're one of their favorite guests. So we're thankful to have your time today. Happy New Year. The topic of the show today is, well, I guess we've kind of switched it to who has the dumbest followers in terms of online presence. Last week I did a segment talking about just kind of like where this Andrew Tate character got his money and a little bit about him. And boy, the pushback after I talked a little bit just about why he got arrested, where he got his money and all of that, it turns out that there's quite a lot of people who actually look up to this guy. What are your thoughts on this Andrew Tate character, just to start?
I think everything on the TV is fake, like it's all theater. So I think like he's like his dad was CIA, so he's probably just like CIA also, same as like Greta Thunberg. But I think that like so I mean I think all these divides are fake, but I think like playing into it, I think that he's very smart in the aspect of like he made it seem like if he gets arrested, like he's like against the Illuminati, and the Illuminati's going after him when he's just like committing crimes, you know. And I think that's kind of a smart angle as like a villain, you know. It's like to do really is to be like, oh yeah, the reason they don't like me doing all this cam business is because they're in the Illuminati and I'm a rebel. Which is kind of a funny like villain take, really. You know, it's like kind of intelligent, really. But I mean, anybody with a brain kind of see through it all, I feel like.
How do you see through it when so many millions of other people don't? A lot of people really look up to him.
Oh, I feel like I'm stupid at other things, but like I feel like I'm good at like psychology and like crowd work and stuff. Like where like I feel like I kind of see what he's. I just think they're all actors. I think anybody allowed to go that far as an actor because like they cancel anybody else. I mean, like they just tweet your account and like all this other stuff if you're not like with them. I feel like, and it's weird to call them sex traffickers because like they seem like sex traffickers also. So it's like sex traffickers calling sex traffickers sex traffickers. It's just weird. It's this weird like kind of like thing, man.
Why do you think so many young men look up to a guy like Andrew Tate?
Lack of family and lack of like father and like lack of values, and they don't actually don't know what a man is because they never had one in their family, so they see a guy talking confident and be like, I'm the man, dude, and they're like, oh, he must be, he told me 17 times in the stream that he's the man, you know.
But I mean, there that speaks to a kind of a larger societal issues with being, men and good fathers, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think society did that on purpose though. Just they destroyed the structures that like the government or whoever else would have more say. But then like you have guys, anyone with confidence comes in and like kind of like fills that void for like like any kind of celebrity. Because I think celebrity takes over for like the lack of American royalty, and then I think like a guy like that will take up for the lack of like father figure in a family. Just by being confident.
How do you kind of define what a real man is, Anthony?
The mirror. I'm just joking. I'm just joking.
But I mean, it's getting harder and harder to kind of define this, right? When you have, postmodern feminism calling the shots, right? Anything that, sort of like sticks its head out is considered to be toxic masculinity. So we have a bit of a problem trying to define what a man is. And I mean, it's no surprise when someone like Andrew Tate comes along, people kind of look at that and it's like a caricature of a man rather than what a real man is, wouldn't you say?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. No, I think it's a society. It's really controversial right now. Like that gender thing, just gender in general is really controversial to like idiots right now. It's just like it's kind of weird. I think it's like demasculation of like America, the declawing of the man. Like it's almost like it's almost controversial to be a man at this point. Like you're just supposed to be trans and and like what I don't know. Everyone's just supposed to be trans now. I guess.
So, I mean, it might make sense that, like, Andrew Tate is kind of like the extreme from the other direction. That while there's this push from the left to hyper feminize men, that the reaction to it on the right would be to create this kind of caricature of what is a masculine man. Would you say that's fair?
Yeah, and I wouldn't even consider him really part of the right. I think anybody that gets villainized is almost part of the right because I mean he doesn't seem very conservative. I like from my perspective. I mean he has somewhat of the same values, but I think like I don't think the conservatives really are about pornography or casinos. Other than like Donald Trump, I guess.
I guess then, I mean, it's sort of like something outside of the typical conservative movement. Then, if you would, because some people call it the manosphere. Are you familiar with that term?
No, but I love it. Like
So it's kind of like, you've probably seen like a lot of these influencers online that are like pickup artists and things like that, like teaching men like
oh,
how to get girls and things like that. Men's rights movement, right? The MRAs, MGTOW, men going their own way. Those kind of all of these groups sort of like compose what we call the manosphere, where you have these men like some are deciding that they don't want to have any relationships with women at all, and we sort of see that in the declining birth rate. And then you have others who are trying to essentially take advantage of women because they feel victimized by this new wave of feminism. What are your thoughts on that?
I think a man that womanizes is usually gay. It's usually like a dude like pretending like he's not gay, being like, "Look at all these girls I got, dude. Like, 'cause I'm not gay. I got like 10 girls this week, so I'm just not gay." And it's just like one of those things where it's just like it's not realistic. It's not a man just like just loyal to his wife and like has a family and is a good leader to his family. I think that's what a man is. I think if you're womanizing, you're still a boy and probably a gay one.
If you're just tuning into the Wake Up America show with Austin Petersen, I was speaking to comedian Anthony Rogers. We're talking about online influencers and Andrew Tate and others. So, I mean, what kind of advice would you give to young men if they see a guy like Andrew Tate? They say, okay, well, this is obviously a real man, and I need to go out there and I need to chase girls. I mean, you see them using all these dating apps and stuff like that, and it's not making them happy. It's only making them miserable. I mean, like, what if you had a young man come up to you and ask you for advice on how to get a great girl and how to be a good man? What kind of advice would you give him?
I don't mimic television or music or anything like that. 'Cause I mean, any of the media just makes you. That's what these people are just a product of the media. Like it almost like it tells you that rite of passage is like having all these girls and stuff like that. But I think like once you do that, you find it's not the answer. And I think like in a world with no values, I think like the rebellion is like having morals, and doing the right thing when everybody else is not doing the right thing. I think that's just what it is. Just be a good man is more important than being a man because you already are a man by being born, I guess, and coming to a certain age. But I think being a good man is more important.
I lucked out, a few years ago. I met a unicorn, right? A beautiful, perfect, lovely woman. She takes good care of me. She's virtuous. She's moral. She's feminine. She's kind. She's everything that any man could ever want in a wife. My beautiful wife, Stephanie. But I can tell you, I had to get married later in life, Anthony, because it took a long time for me to find a woman like that. Women like that are much scarcer. I don't know how long you've been married, but I can tell you that having gotten out of the dating pool only, a few years ago, that it's hard out there for a pimp, Anthony. It's very difficult for young men to find good women because these women are so brainwashed by postmodern feminism. I mean, what kind of advice can we give for men on how to deal with and find and attract a good woman?
Well, no, I think you nailed it, man. I was like 28 when I met my wife, and I think that like yeah, no, you're right. Because and then like everyone else is like a single mother in the dating pool, like because they have no, they just don't keep their family together. You're just like you're supposed to just like raise some other dude's babies until she gets like tired of you and probably does the same thing to you. It's just like a weird, it's just like a weird like society where no one wants to like finish things. They want to start things constantly, but don't want to finish things. They want to reset every 5 minutes and be like, well, that didn't work out exactly how I like it, so I'm gonna just ruin this child for the rest of its life. And I think the best thing we could do is not be like our fathers and not be like the former generations and just not let television and internet raise our kids and actually raise our kids ourselves. I don't have any kids, but I'm saying I would rather raise my kids on the internet.
That's a really good point. If you're just tuning in to the Wake Up America show with Austin Petersen, I'm speaking with Anthony Rogers. He's a comedian. We'd love to hear from him. One of our listeners over in the live stream says, AP, you've matured a lot since 2016. I'm sure that has something to do with it. Thank you very much for that. I appreciate the kind words. Grant says that he's blessed to have found his fiance, and he's 28 years old. Yeah, you're lucky. I'm lucky. Anthony Rogers is lucky, but a lot of these young men aren't lucky. I mean, they feel lost, Anthony, and you could understand why they turn to influencers like Andrew Tate and others. I mean, the left is in a much worse position because the people that they have lift up are fake and gay and a psyop, like Greta Thunberg and and others. I mean, they are like these people are like kind of like manufactured in a lab almost.
Yeah, it was really weird that like after he like made fun of her on the internet for marketing that like he got arrested and she was like taunting him and I'm like you're just like rubbing in our face that you're a part of this establishment that just like censors everybody. And I think he's part of the same establishment. I mean his dad was CIA. I mean and then that's how they recruit people. I mean the government recruits from within like any other industry. It's like nepotism and all that. So I think that he's just another puppet. Like I mean all the rock stars in the 60s were pushing like LSD and like whatever else, it's the same thing with this guy. He's pretending he's like controlled opposition for the left. Like how like Fox News is basically.
He's kind of like, like with Elon Musk, where it's kind of like he's replaced Donald Trump in a way, right? So it's like I don't know if
Yeah.
you're familiar with 1984, but they would have this caricature of a villain, and then they would have 2 minutes of hate where they would sit there and scream at the screen, right? Put their hands up, and scream at the screen. But I mean, the problem there would seem to be that it's not just that people are being, it's not just the controllers, but the people who allow themselves to be controlled, Anthony.
Yeah, no, I don't believe anything on the news. I think it's all theater. Like pretty much is how I feel. I think it's all just like theater, make everybody argue about about pharmaceuticals and politics and whatever else. It's just like a bunch of people that don't know anything arguing with other people that don't know anything. That's what it seems like.
So I guess last question is the biggest question of all. I don't know that you would have an answer for it. I don't have an answer for it, but how do people break out of the matrix?
I mean, I like honestly just not use their phone and not use the internet. Just like go back to like real life and stop living this like synthetic life. But I mean, that's probably hard to exist in society at that point, and to even get a job without a phone is probably insane at this point. But I mean, you almost have to redefine like the world really, because I think we just got really lazy and stupid kind of, and maybe we already were. Maybe every generation was. It's just I don't know. I wasn't in other generations, but it just seems like everybody just stares at their phone all day.
Any advice on how to be a good father?
I don't have any kids, so probably not. But I'm too selfish to have kids. But
Hey, now that at least you're honest. That's funny, Anthony. A lot of people wouldn't be quite that straightforward or honest about that for sure. But I mean, in terms of a family, my wife and I are looking to start a family this year, and I guess I'm nervous about it. I'm nervous about what it means to be a good father. I mean, my dad was a good father, and I had a good example. But there are a lot more dangers, and most of them being online, a lot more dangers to young people now than existed when you and I grew up, aren't there?
maybe or it's better publicized. I always go back and forth on that because like I can see your point. I can see it, and I can see it just being better publicized. I don't know the answer, like I mean, but I can definitely see that. Like I mean, it's a way crazier world. I mean, or at least the crazy is better documented. I don't know.
Maybe that's a good point. Anthony, where can people find out a little bit more about you and follow your career online?
Please don't. I have enough followers and friends and all that. I appreciate it though.
Anthony Rogers TV is available on Roku. You can watch the Roku app. Well, Anthony, I see you've got a big comedy show coming up or something on like a private island.
Yeah, I'm going to this island in like Little St. James or something like that. They have this they're having this like party I'm supposed to go to. I'm just joking. It's like Epstein's Island. But I know I actually do though. I'm supposed to do a show in Hawaii, which I'm like nervous about because I have to like the incompetence of human beings and like their inventions. So like it just seems like a bad idea for me, but I'm still doing it because it pays a lot.
As it should. Anthony Rogers is a comedian. He certainly made me laugh. I hope he made you laugh as well. Anthony, thanks so much for your time today. We appreciate you coming on the program today. All right. Happy New Year. What do you think of Anthony Rogers? It's great stuff. He always makes me laugh. You can send us a text at 573-319-1586. That's 573-319-1586. We'll be back. Don't forget, we got Ben Williams, a.k.a. Prax Ben, join us to talk about Matt Walsh's attack on libertarians at 8:30. We'll be back with more on the Wake Up America Show at wakeupAmericaShow.com.
Want an engaging website to boost your business? You're just a click away from 5-star Fiverr talent. Hundreds of freelancer skills like web design. Head to Fiverr.com today and get something started.
American conservatism is distinct, like America is distinct from the United Kingdom. American conservatism's roots comes out of the Wild West, out of pioneerism. The difference between American conservatives and European conservatives is that Americans are cowboys. We are that God, guns, gold, and girls. It's wild here. And we should stay that way. We shouldn't allow a European version of conservatism to come and infect us here. We like it wide open spaces here, deep in the heart of Texas and all that.
Hi, I'm Stephanie, Austin's wife. I want to thank you all for watching the Wake Up America Show with Austin Petersen. This show has been a huge venture for our family, so we would love it if you could join us.
I believe in liberty, and I believe in Austin's ability to spread the ideas of liberty. Do you?
I want to ask you today to join Petersen's Patriots with a pledge of $17.76 a month. Help us to stay cancel-proof so we can spread the message of limited government across the country. I joined Petersen's Patriots myself, just in a little different way. Visit wakeupAmericaShow.com/support and make your pledge today.
Hello, I'm George. Thank you for watching the Wake Up America show with my dad. Today, I'd like to share with you 3 reasons why you should visit Dad's online store at apforlibertyshop.com. Number 1, you can get exclusive freedom-loving merch designed by AP himself or me mum, Stephie. Liberty Laura has made some designs as well, and blimey, they are great! Number 2, most of these products are so wicked that they aren't even allowed to be advertised on Facebook or Instagram. Modern machine guns and a proper keychain. Plus, our Grover Cleveland t-shirt is so spicy apparently that leftists on Facebook specifically banned it from appearing on the website. Number 3, you're supporting liberty lovers just like you. Spend your money where you earn it, and you help me pups build a community that supports what you believe. Bloody hell, this commercial is running too long. Gotta run. Bye now. Don't forget to visit apforlibertyshop.com. That's apforlibertyshop.com.
Good morning, Rise in Freedom. I'm Austin Petersen. You're watching and listening to the Wake Up America show at wakeupAmericaShow.com. Glad to have you here on the program today with us. Send us a text at 573-319-1586. Hope you're enjoying the program so far today. We've still got more great stuff to go. Ben Williams is going to join us, also known as Prax Ben online, to talk about Matt Walsh's attacks on libertarians. First up, though, we've got a giveaway to do. Each month we do a giveaway, and I forgot to announce it last Friday, the winner of the monthly prize contest. So if you are a monthly subscriber to the Wake Up America show, and there's multiple ways you can do that. You could be a monthly subscriber here on the YouTube channel, like our friend Matt Unruh, who has the little gold logo next to it, or you can see A.N. Henry, for example, if you're in the YouTube chat. She's got a little Statue of Liberty next to her name. Well, if you're a monthly subscriber there, or if you're a monthly sustaining subscriber through the Wake Up America show website, for example, any of our monthly subscribers are eligible to win a free item from the AP for Liberty shop. And what that does is it enters you into a monthly prize drawing. So we have got a bunch of awesome new products, courtesy of my lovely wife, Stephanie. Let's give her a round of applause before we do the giveaway. Let's see, over there. There it is. Okay, yes, over here. You can see we've got a new Wake Up America Show sweater, Wake Up America Show mugs. Just type Wake Up at the AP for Liberty shop website, and you can see that there are a bunch of awesome items on the Wake Up America Show website. So if you're a monthly subscriber, then you get an option to win any of the items from our merch shop, which is pretty cool, right? All you have to do is win like one item, and all of a sudden your monthly subscription is paid for. Yeah. And Henry, yes, you are entered into the drawings, just an FYIs, just so you know. And it's not like we have 1 million subscribers or anything like that, so your chances to win are pretty high. So yeah, even if you're just a $2.99 a month subscriber, like the people who are on YouTube, or if you're a $17.76 a month patriot on Wake Up America Show, everybody gets entered into the monthly drawings. And you also get a 20% discount off the shop. So if you're a monthly subscriber and you don't have your discount code, you need to send me an email at Austin or let's see, what's the easiest way to do this? Wake up at stonegatellc.com. That's a good one. And GAITLLC.com. So just send us an email or send me a DM on any of my social media accounts and just say, hey, Austin, I'm a monthly subscriber. What's my discount code? And I'll send it to you. All right. But we need to go ahead and just give that gift certificate away. I have chosen a winner at random. And the winner for this month of the Wake Up America Show prize giveaway is Ava Lavasco. Congratulations to Ava. She's been a monthly subscriber for quite some time now. Ava is the winner, if you're watching, Ava, of the prize discount. So basically, what do you win? You win an item of your choice from the AP for Liberty shop website. So any of the merch items that you see over there, you can you can buy over at AP for Liberty Shop. And if you weren't a winner this month, then better luck next month. But if you are not a monthly subscriber and you want to be entered in, now is a good time to do the to join the show by doing a monthly subscription. It's only $2.99 a month. Maria says, take my money, but I don't want a subscription. Had a subscription with PayPal for Freedom Tunes. PayPal started being crazy, and I've been unable to cancel PayPal. Yeah, for sure. Whatever you like, Maria. The YouTube one you do have control over, so I think it's pretty easy to do like the monthly subscribers. So Ava is the winner. Grant is going to message me later today to find out what his 20% discount code is. Yeah, just send me a message and I will make sure that you get that. Sarah Palacio says, congrats. And yeah, for sure. Again, like I said, monthly subscribers get entered into the prize drawings. And yeah, and that's how we roll here, so that you give a little and you get a little. How about that? Congratulations to Ava. Choose your item from the shop, and I will contact you directly in case you're not watching or listening right now. Alrighty, so let's see. Matt Walsh says about libertarians. He says this: libertarianism continues to prove itself to be an utterly useless and irrelevant political movement. I guess my question is, if I had to talk to Matt Walsh, is what has conservatism ever conserved? Concerned. All right. Happy New Year. All right. Let me go get my buddy Ben Williams. He's going to comment on that. We'll talk to him about that when we get back. Oh, wait, before I go, real quick. It's kind of big news. I forgot to tell you. No more Austin Petersen show in St. Louis, FYI. Sorry to say, they were not big fans on that network. And I could understand why. A lot of complaints from listeners because I was not Trump enough and not a Christian. What can you do? I got to be me. When Trump's doing the right thing, I say he's doing the right thing. When he comes out and says, pro-life people are the reason why midterms were lost, and, I'm going to disagree with him. And as for me not being a Christian, I chose not to lie to people about who I am and what I believe, and just say what it is. So that's it. This is the only show you're going to get now. Just me. The Wake Up America Show. We'll talk about that when we get back on the Wake Up America Show at wakeupAmericaShow.com.
Were you exposed to hazardous materials while serving in the military and have an illness or condition as a result?
If so, you may be eligible for VA benefits and services.
Whether you need health care or want to file a disability compensation claim related to military exposures, VA is here to help.
Visit va.gov/military-exposures to learn more and apply today.
If there wasn't going to be somebody who was a fiery champion of liberty, somebody who would get out there and who would be aggressive, and if they wouldn't do it with more fire or passion than I had, then I would go and I would fight this battle for us. I've fought for the principles that we all share. Parties tend to be secondary to me. We're here because we believe in the principles of liberty. I am not a perfect messenger, but I think I'm a damn good one. This is a replica of our first president's flintlock pistol. You have my full support, my respect, and my gun.
I think that at the heart of my philosophy is much more libertarianism than well, that's the fashionable word these days, I guess. A conservative is no longer just that. He's a libertarian and always has been.
Yet any time you and I question the schemes of the do-gooders, we're denounced as being against their humanitarian goals. They say we're always against things, we're never for anything.
What is fascism? Fascism is private ownership, private enterprise, but total government control and regulation.
Well, The trouble with our liberal friends is not that they're ignorant. It's just that they know so much that isn't so. If we lose freedom here, there's no place to escape to. This is the last stand on earth. This is the issue of this election. Whether we believe in our capacity for self-government or whether we abandon the American Revolution and confess that a little intellectual elite in a far distant capital can plan our lives for us better than we can plan them ourselves.
The conservative, so-called, is the one that says less government. Get off my back, get out of my pocket, and let me have more control of my own destiny.
If I had to pick up the phone, call 911 for one of my family members or one of my neighbors, what would I do if no one was on the other end to respond? What if there was no 911? So you can be a part of the solution.
Anybody can be a firefighter. Male, female, younger, older.
We have school teachers. We have leaders in business.
Is me, you, anyone that wants to be. There is no typical firefighter.
Do you hate the deep state? Do you reject the Antichrist in all his ways? Do you believe that aliens controlled LBJ to assassinate John F. Kennedy? Did you know that the shot can put chemicals in you that will make you more sensitive to 5G? Do you love America? Do you want more freedom? Do you like smoking hot red-headed libertarians? Then the AP for Liberty shop is for you! Check out all the awesome new merch and have a happy new year! Fight the deep state, reject the Antichrist. Visit AP for Liberty shop and get your patriotic merchandise now, or the deep state wins.
Good morning, Rise and Freedom. I'm Austin Petersen. You're watching and listening to the Wake Up America show at wakeupamericashow.com. Happy New Year. Thanks so much for tuning into the program today. We're glad to have you here. You can send us a text at 573-319-1586, or you can also drop a super chat over at youtube.com/AP for Liberty. Libertarianism continues to prove itself to be an utterly useless and irrelevant political movement. Those aren't my words. You know I'm a hardcore libertarian, and I'm going to stay that way. Those were the words of conservative commentator from the Daily Wire, Matt Walsh. Well, why did he say something like that? It didn't just come out of the blue, did it? Let's get an expert in here to discuss. His name is Benjamin Williams. He is also known as Prax Ben on Instagram and on TikTok. He's joining us now. Good morning, Benjamin. Thank you so much for joining us on the program today.
Good morning. Thanks for having me. Yeah, so
give us a recap here.
Matt Walsh was responding to a tweet by Reason, the libertarian magazine. One of their writers, Scott Shackford, I believe, he wrote an article in which he said the whole drag queen thing, conservatives reacting over drag queens and kids, is all a moral panic, which I would disagree with him for the most part on what he wrote there. But, Reason magazine, they may be a libertarian magazine, but they clearly don't represent the majority of libertarians. I'm really into the libertarian movement. I know you are too. Most libertarians I talk to, they're totally against these sexualized drag queen shows that people bring kids to. And you even saw a lot of libertarians in the comments of the Reason tweet, and they were voicing their opinions. And most of them, they were ratioing the Reason. There's a lot more people agreeing with them than agreeing with Reason. So I really don't understand why Matt Walsh thinks this is representative of the libertarian movement.
Do you think that it's willful ignorance?
Yeah, I definitely think so, because, here in his tweet, he says, it's a useless and irrelevant political movement. Yet Matt Walsh and people like him, like Michael Knowles, for example, he was on Timcast recently, and what he said was, oh, the problem with conservatives and Republicans is we've been listening to the libertarians so much, and we've been doing all the libertarian stuff. Well, if it's so useless and irrelevant, then why have conservatives been persuaded by libertarians supposedly for decades? Doesn't really make any sense to me.
If you're just tuning into the Wake Up America show, I'm speaking to Benjamin Williams. You can find him as AKA Prax Ben online. We're talking about Matt Walsh's recent attacks on libertarians. But attacking libertarians, those is kind of in vogue these days. I saw Michael Knowles did the same thing on Timcast just the other day in his recent appearance. Conservatives and Trumpers, MAGA Trumpers, really see libertarians as the enemy, as the reason why progressives have won so many battles over the past decades. How would you respond to that?
Yeah, I'm not really sure why we're seeing it so much lately. We've seen stuff from Steven Crowder, from Alex Jones, all sorts of people, and they're just going really hard on this message right now. I think they see moving forward, they need to move towards the more paleo conservative or national conservative movement. And so they're trying to convince people, all right, this is why you need to go in this direction, and they need a boogeyman to blame for it. Right? They need to say, okay, this is why what we've been doing isn't working. It's because actually it wasn't even conservatism. It was libertarianism. We're not libertarians, right? So let's do the conservative thing. But they don't even follow the conservative fathers like Edmund Burke. Edmund Burke famously said that you can't have virtue without liberty. They say, oh, go read Edmund Burke. He was against individualism and all that, but it seems like they don't even read them. I think it's also partially they feel threatened by libertarians. We saw the Mises Caucus take over of the Libertarian Party, a lot more conservative libertarians. So now they can no longer point to the Libertarian Party and go, oh, look, it's run by a bunch of progressives. They're not really right wing. And I know the Mises Caucus people, they're pulling a lot of people from the Republican Party into the Libertarian Party. So I guess maybe it's a lot of different things, and that's why they're going so hard on that now.
I guess, a good response that I like to say is usually to something like that is, what has conservatism ever conserved? If you're just tuning in to the Wake Up America show with Austin Petersen, I'm speaking to Benjamin Williams. You'll know him as Prax Ben on Instagram, TikTok, and any other platforms. We're talking a little bit about conservative attacks on libertarians. Maria over in the live stream says, remember when the Libertarian Party posted from the Satanic Temple on Easter Sunday? I wasn't a Christian at the time, but they certainly were showing their trashiness then. Yeah, a lot of libertarians out there aren't very good representatives of our ideology, Ben, and they don't seem to be interested in it. When I ran for president in 2016 as a member of the Libertarian Party, there was a fat, naked dancing guy on stage, and I famously got booed for saying that you shouldn't be able to sell heroin to 5-year-olds. My problem with the liberty movement is that they kind of let the anarchist wing, which, I'm much closer to an anarchist than I am a neocon or anything like that. But I mean, there's a difference between ideology and marketing that ideology. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, absolutely. Now, personally, I am an anarchist, so I might disagree with you in some things there, but I think it's mostly the what we call libertines, the liberty for the sake of liberty people. Many of them, they're moral subjectivists. They don't have any actual worldview except for, oh, I want liberty. But they can't really tell you why they want liberty. They can't tell you why liberty is good. The way I see it, in order to have a good and virtuous moral society, like I referenced to Edmund Burke earlier, you need liberty. You need to allow people to build these pre-political institutions like the family, the community, and the church. And those are really what make things better, not pushing everything over to the state with public schools and state welfare. That's what creates the atomized individuals that conservatives so famously accuse us of wanting everyone to be.
Are there any libertarian figures that you particularly admire or look up to, Ben?
Absolutely. Murray Rothbard, of course. I'm a huge Rothbardian. Hans Hermann Hoppe, of course, Ludwig von Mises. There might even be a few other rarely mentioned ones in there, like oh, now I'm drawing a blank. But those are the three main ones.
Good to know. If you're just tuning in to the Wake Up America show with Austin Petersen, I'm speaking to Benjamin Williams. We're talking about recent conservative attacks on libertarians. My biggest beef with a lot of these conservative attacks on libertarians is that, sometimes they have some merit to it. Like what Matt Walsh had to say about, in criticizing that article from Reason about, about child drag shows. I'd probably agree with Matt Walsh's criticism of that in such a way, but that they like to paint with such a broad brush, and that they also like to typically attack a straw man of what libertarians are rather than the actual problems themselves. And I mean, there are issues that I think, libertarians need to sort of clean up their act with, like what we just discussed here, Ben. But do you think that it comes down to an ignorance of what libertarianism really is? Or do you think that they know what libertarianism is and that they're playing dumb? Or maybe is it a little bit of both?
It's definitely both. It really depends upon the person. I can't speak for everyone, but you see some people who were former libertarians and former very well-read libertarians, like Nick Fuentes, for example. He was a libertarian. He was very much into the Austrian school. And even now, sometimes if you watch some of his debates and some of his conversations, he shows that he does understand these things. And when he's going on his little rant saying, oh, libertarianism is this and this and this, he knows that's not true. Now, with people like Matt Walsh, I can't really speak for how well read he is, but the whole like atomized individual thing I mentioned earlier, they say all libertarians are moral subjectivists. There's lots of different things they say that do kind of show us they don't really understand what libertarians are actually advocating for, or they're just focusing on libertines, which in my opinion are relatively rare in the libertarian community.
Why do you think that someone like Nick Fuentes ultimately abandoned libertarianism and adopted more of these paleo or natcon views, and specifically the racial ones?
Well, I think for the most part, they saw their ideology as libertarians not being compatible with our modern political sphere. But as far as changing their views on race or changing their views on Hitler or whatever, I think they just kind of go down this rabbit hole of disdain. That they see all these people that they hate, and those people, maybe they hate Hitler, or maybe they hate Mussolini, or they hate this person, that person, or they hate this idea and that idea. And they say, I want to represent everything that my enemies hate. And that just brings them down this long rabbit hole. And then eventually, in my opinion, they become more like their enemies through that.
That's a really good analysis, actually, Ben. And I think I would agree with you on that. In regards to libertarian, do you think that libertarianism has something to offer to the modern political climate?
Absolutely. And I think the modern political climate, and especially actually from both sides, really has stuff to offer to libertarianism. I think populism has things to offer to libertarianism. I think we need libertarian populists going out there and saying, hey guys, you want higher wages, you want better, safer communities, you want this and this and this is the answer. I think conservatives can look to libertarianism for better economics. Our economic status is not very good right now. They need to not be doing what Trump did. They need to be freeing our markets. They need to be freeing our trade. But yeah, like every aspect of libertarianism has a lot to offer to conservatism. They're focusing on all the wrong things. They should be focusing on abolishing the Fed, getting rid of state welfare, and economic freedom.
Now, when you say, it has something to offer to conservatives, I mean, some people might have a bone to pick with you on that. And they'd say libertarianism is its own distinct ideology. It's not conservatism and it's not leftism, although sometimes we agree with conservatives and sometimes we agree with leftists, right? War on drugs for one issue, for example, or, legalizing prostitution. But then, on the conservative side, we agree with them, like perhaps on, government spending or something like that. Not that conservatives have ever really cut government spending or anything like that. But I mean, do you see libertarianism as a distinct ideology, or is it a sub branch of conservatism?
Well, yeah, when we say conservatism, we're usually kind of saying, oh, the Republicans, basically, if we're talking in the American context. But of course, they have neocons, they have national conservatives, all sorts of different people. Libertarianism, I see more as a legal theory. It's mostly about resolving conflicts, and that legal theory results in, whether it be minarchism or anarchism. Some people come to different conclusions based on that legal theory. That's how I see it. I think it's very absent of like a moral philosophy, but that doesn't mean libertarians themselves are absent of a moral philosophy. You just have to take something else, in some cases, Christianity, and mix that with the existing legal philosophy. So yeah, I absolutely think libertarianism can be conservative, but I don't know if I'd say it's inherently a part of conservatism. The way I see conservatism is primarily about natural hierarchies and conserving a specific form of traditional values. In the case of America, it's typically traditional American, Western, and Christian values. And you absolutely can conserve those things through libertarianism.
You can tell I think very highly of this young man, Ben Williams, because I've been asking him the big, tough questions, and he's really knocked him out of the park. Ben Williams, a.k.a. Prax Ben. Is there anything else that you think that our listeners should know before I let you go, Ben?
You know what? If you really want to be engaged in this conversation, I say, go check out people like Murray Rothbard, people like Hans Hermann Hoppe. Murray Rothbard wrote, actually it was a lecture. I think it was 4 myths about libertarianism, and he talks about the atomized individualist thing, and he talks about, libertarians just want society to decline and degenerate into nothing and all sorts of things. And he, like, back in the 70s, he refuted all of these arguments that the conservatives are using today. And I highly recommend checking that out, whether you're a libertarian and you need to defend your beliefs, or if you're a conservative and you kind of want to look into what do libertarians actually believe, rather than what Matt Walsh tells you we believe.
That's good stuff. Hey, Ben, would you do us a favor? And after the segment is over, would you grab a link to that Rothbard segment and drop it over in the chat over on YouTube? We'd be super grateful.
Absolutely.
We'd appreciate that very much. And then that's a great way for you also to drop the links to your social media profiles. You can follow him at Prax Ben on Instagram, as well as on TikTok, young TikTok influencer. That's what the new kids are doing these days. Thanks for your time, Ben. Have a great day and Happy New Year.
Absolutely. You too.
Thanks very much. What did you think of Ben? Send us a text, 573-319-1586. I thought he was pretty smart. Now is my chance to do what every good libertarian loves to do, and that is talk about gold and silver. You see, the Wake Up America show doesn't come to you for free. It comes to you out of gold and silver. Would you like more information? Would you like to know more? Well, check out my website, learaustin.com. Let's see if I can, there we go. I cover up my shirt. You can read it a little bit better. LEARAUSTIN.com. They've got a free informational packet that they will send you. So sign up for that info packet over at learaustin.com. There we go. Close my short. There we go. LEARAUSTIN.com. It's a great way to support the show by getting a free informational packet from my friends over at learaustin.com. I got to tell you, gold and silver investments have been some of the best ones that I've made in my entire life. It's a great idea for you to do the same. Yep. Help the Austin Petersen Wake Up America show grow for free. Head over to learaustin.com, sign up for that free informational kit, and we'll be back with more on the Wake Up America show at wakeupamericashow.com.
Hello, my name is Kelvin. Welcome to Frenchy Bush. This is my Diddy's website. Now I've decided to speak to you with my real voice for the first time ever to tell you about how cool Frenchy Bush is. But I've decided that this is the perfect opportunity to share with you. Frenchy Bush is a good website. You should follow us on socials. If you like Frenchies or any kind of bulldogs, me and my new brother George are going going to try to make your life more fun.
Hello, I'm George. My neck isn't really thick yet, but it will be. We are so glad you're here. Please ignore my floating eyeball. It helps me spot predators who might be approaching from the sides.
Dee made Frenchy bullshit to review things that he uses on me and my brother to tell you if it's good or bullshit. Take this collar, for example. Dee really likes it. Dee said it's really handy because us Frenchies got thick necks. Need something really tough. People think Frenchies are little, but if you look at us from below, you can see we are really pretty buff. Beefcake. Yes. Look at my creamy thighs and chest. Yes. You like that?
Big brother, please focus.
Frenchy Bush. Please follow us for more great content and read the Frenchy Bush blog for more fun and cool stuff.
I'm a public defender.
I am a public defender.
I'm proud to be a public defender.
80% of Americans accused of a crime will get appointed a public defender.
Everybody from a speeding ticket to capital murder.
For every dollar we spend on public defenders, we spend $3 on prosecutors.
Public defenders have to do pretty much everything on their own.
Social workers, counselors.
Investigating is another piece of it.
The average public defender holds 300 cases annually.
You never feel like there's enough time.
Public defenders have health issues all the time.
A lot of people give up and say, I can't do this work anymore.
Gideon's Promise trains, mentors, and supports public defenders.
There are a lot of people who say that they would not still be public defenders, but for Gideon's Promise.
It's fueled me to continue on in this fight.
Gideon's Promise has changed the face of public defense.
People see us as troublemakers.
Good trouble only.
We don't make it easy. It should not be easy to take away someone's liberty.
Ever hear the one about the frog? Put a frog in a pot of boiling water and it'll jump right out.
Here's my resume again.
But put a frog in a pot of cool water and slowly heat it up, and that frog will boil. It's a lie. But as a metaphor for us and all that we go through as veterans,
Do you have any real-world experience?
it's a story that rings true. We make excuses for how we feel. We push everything down. We tell ourselves the lie that it's easier to stay in that boiling water, to disconnect. And some days, maybe it is. But you've never been interested in easy. Make no mistake, reaching out is hard. Do it anyway. You're not alone. You've got this. You are not a frog.
Find resources at va.gov/reach.
Good morning, Rise and Freedom. I'm Austin Petersen. Thanks for tuning into the Wake Up America show with Austin Petersen at wakeupAmericashow.com. Glad to have you here. Appreciate you all coming in today and hanging out with us. Our friends, John Blackwood, you are in the right place. That's right. Thanks for Amelia for letting everybody know. And Henry, Quest Fanning, and all of our friends joining us over on the live stream today. We're glad to have you here. You like the new camera set up here? Look at how beautiful this is. This is the camera I was using last week. This is the GoPro. It's not quite as pretty as this camera over here, and definitely not nowhere as pretty as this one over here. But I've been having to make some replacements since the studio got soaked. I lost a camera last week, and thankfully, a lot of you stepped up and made donations to the show to help us get back in working order. And Ann Henry's so nice. She's like, I would watch you even if he was on a smartphone. Well, that's so nice. A lot of people wouldn't, but you are a special exception. We appreciate that very much. I decided to stay here this week rather than go back over to the other studio because one, I like work from home. Two, I'm still not 100% not sick anymore. And three, I wanted to sleep in a little bit. I have to drive to work. How's that? Go out in the cold and drive to work. Yeah, so I'm just hanging out here at home. Yeah, this is my dining room. Do you enjoy my World War II gun collection over here? Isn't that nice? Very pretty, right? Right, there we are. Yes. This is, let's see, Mosin Nagant, Short Magazine Lee Enfield, Japanese Arasaka. What's that? Nazi Mauser, M1 Garand, and Italian Carcano. Lots of exciting news coming up. January 8th is going to be my InfoWars debate. I'll be debating with host Owen Schroyer regarding the John F. Kennedy assassination. I've been really excited doing my homework for this debate on January 8th, Sunday at 8 a.m. Oh, excuse me, 7 p.m. I will be on InfoWars debating the assassination of John F. Kennedy. I will be on the Oswald did it side of things. You can imagine that they are going to be on it was the CIA through LBJ. So it should be interesting. Sarah Palacio says, where would you prefer we send in donations? Best place to do it is on the wakeupAmericaShow.com/support page. So if you head over to wakeupAmericaShow.com/support, your money will go to help defray the cost of the loss of studio equipment, which we certainly appreciate. Thank you, Sarah, by the way. Very grateful for that. Also, if you want to support us for free, best way to do that is the learaustin.com website. You can sign up for a free gold and silver packet from our friends over at learaustin.com. They'll send you all of their information about gold and silver, and that's a free way to help support the show. Doug says there's an empty spot on the gun rack. We got to fix that. I know. Actually, there are a few World War II rifles that I don't have. So I need the French one. I always say I have all the major belligerents of World War II, but then I realize I don't have a French Mas 12, I think is what it's called. So I do, but I guess I forget. France was in World War II for a very brief period. Anyways, so lots of exciting things are coming on the horizon. The Wake Up America show continues to get bigger and better. Yes, it's true. There is no afternoon radio show out in St. Louis anymore, but that's okay because it now gives me time to fully devote to the Wake Up America show, which is what I really need to be doing because this is the future. This is the time for me to spend as much energy as I can making this show as successful as possible. And it's already been very successful. I mean, you could see people like Sarah Palacio stepping up, helping to donate to get us more studio equipment replaced. Lear Capital stepping in as an investor and making making an advertising budget available for this show. I mean, this is a big deal. We're going to have 2023 is going to be a very exciting year. Yes, Stephanie and I are going to go to Japan for 10 days. But yes, you are going to get some content during that period. I'm going to pre-record some stuff for you that's going to be fresh so that you can still have Wake Up America show style content available to you while I'm in Japan. And Stephie and I are planning to create some vlogging content for you while we are in Japan. It's most likely going to be history related stuff. We're going to go to the Yasukuni Shrine while we're there, which is like their military memorial. So we're going to create some actual historical content for you while we're there in Japan. So you should look for that. It's going to be very exciting. And that's, of course, thanks to people like you. People like you and you and you and you. People like Dustin, people like Robbie Thurman, people like Elizabeth Fanning Press, like Al Johnson, Ben Rodriguez, Maria. Thank you so much for all of your support and friendships. Rare Camellia, John Blackwood, all of our friends, Quest Fanning, Tolly Owens, Mad Mom Anon. It's because of people like you that I can have this awesome job, this career of podcasting, broadcasting. Happy New Year. I hope that your 2023 is absolutely stellar. I think that it absolutely will, as long as you stick around with us and hang out with the Cantina crew on the Wake Up America show at wakeupAmericaShow.com. We'll see you tomorrow.
I like shooting things, but whenever I can't shoot something, I like to cut things. My life isn't all about shooting and stabbing and cutting, though. Sometimes I have to do actual work, but when I work, I still like to have fun. And there's nothing less fun than trying to cut with a crappy knife. Thankfully, from the ancient sect of Christian knights, who also loved cutting and stabbing, comes a new implement that has received my personal blessing, the Templar knife. Like the ancient sword of Excalibur, you don't choose a Templar knife, it chooses you. You just decide what kind you want on the website first, however, and then order it online, and then it chooses you. The Templar knife comes in a variety of shapes. As a man of culture and taste, I have decided I will never use a terrible knife again. And thanks to the inspiration provided by this excellent product, I have decided to launch a new crusade against anyone using less than superior knives. Join me, brothers and sisters, by visiting uppercuttactical.com/pages/Templar-knives. That's a lot of slashes. For that, you'll need a Templar knife. For 10% off, use code AP for Liberty and join me in a quest for glory, for liberty, for Christendom, for the Templar knife. Get yours today. Fire. Your printing company stinks. They charge you too much money and they don't love America enough. We've got the solution. Patriot Printing USA. Whether you're running for office, saving souls, or just need business cards that will get you the new job you've been looking for, Patriot Printing USA has got you covered with the best prices around. Palm cards, brochures, bumper stickers, door hangers, you name it, we've got it. PatriotPrintingUSA.com. That's PatriotPrintingUSA.com.
Want an engaging website to boost your business? You're just a click away from 5-star Fiverr talent. Hundreds of freelancer skills like web design. Head to Fiverr.com today and get something started.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
I would remind you that extremism in the defense of liberty is no vice.
It is better to settle these matters in the courts than on the streets, and new laws are needed at every level. But law alone cannot make men see right.